How do you eliminate laziness permanently instead of relying on temporary motivation that disappears the moment difficulty appears? You know that moment when you wake up with perfect intentions to be productive. You know exactly what needs doing. But somehow hours pass in meaningless distraction, and by evening you've accomplished nothing despite having entire day available. In 1643, Miyamoto Musashi, undefeated in over 60 duels, retired to Reigandō cave to document the systematic practices he maintained throughout his life. He spent 2 years writing Go Rin No Sho, Book of Five Rings, completing it in February 1645, just months before his death. Throughout his writings, Musashi emphasized that laziness isn't personality trait or character flaw. It's behavioral pattern created by specific conditions that can be systematically eliminated through environmental design and habit architecture. Samurai couldn't afford laziness because single instance of delayed action meant death in combat, creating selection pressure that produced most effective anti-laziness methods ever developed. The 7 habits I'm breaking down in this video are extracted from Musashi's writings, historical accounts of samurai training methods, and documented warrior daily practices, not motivational techniques requiring constant psychological effort or willpower tricks that fail under pressure. Actual systematic practices that make laziness impossible through environmental elimination of conditions that produce lazy behavior. Understanding this framework earlier would have prevented decades believing laziness was personal failing, requiring more willpower rather than recognizing it as predictable response to specific conditions requiring systematic elimination. I'm organizing these 7 habits into 3 categories: environmental design, eliminating laziness conditions; energy optimization, creating execution capacity; and accountability systems, preventing avoidance. This structure matters because attempting accountability without environmental design means fighting constant uphill battle against surroundings producing laziness, and attempting energy optimization without both support systems means temporary improvement, followed by inevitable regression when circumstances change. Let's start with environmental design. Habit 1. Friction elimination. Habit 1 eliminates friction, preventing desired action execution. Remove obstacles between you and what you should do. Friction elimination creates action by making desired behavior easier to execute than alternative lazy behaviors through environmental restructuring. Most people experience laziness not because they genuinely want to be lazy, but because desired actions have accumulated friction, making them psychologically difficult to start. Want to train, but equipment is stored away, requiring setup. Want to work on project, but materials are scattered, requiring organization. Want to cook healthy food, but ingredients require shopping and preparation. Each friction point creates decision opportunity, where you evaluate whether effort is worth it, and when tired or unmotivated, the evaluation consistently favors easier alternative, producing what looks like laziness, but is actually rational response to friction-heavy environment. Why friction determines behavior more than intention becomes clear examining action initiation dynamics. Action requires overcoming activation energy, initial effort getting started that feels disproportionately difficult compared to continuing once started. High friction increases activation energy, making start feel extremely difficult, creating strong avoidance impulse. Low friction decreases activation energy, making start feel easy, creating automatic initiation. Research confirms friction reduction is most effective behavior change intervention because it operates automatically without requiring willpower or motivation. You simply do what's easiest, and environmental design determines what's easiest. Consider wanting to train daily, but equipment stored in closet requiring retrieval and setup. Every morning you face decision. retrieve equipment and train, or skip training today and relax immediately. Setup friction creates activation energy, making training feel difficult before you've even started producing consistent choice to skip training. Now consider identical goal with equipment permanently positioned in living space, visible and immediately available. Morning decision becomes train using readily available equipment or deliberately store equipment and relax. Friction reversal makes training easier than avoidance, producing opposite behavior pattern through environmental change, not psychological improvement. Reality check moment. Examine your current environment, honestly identifying friction points, preventing desired actions. Want to read more but books stored away on shelf requiring retrieval? Want to eat healthy but kitchen requires cleaning before cooking? Want to work on important project but workspace is cluttered requiring organization? Most people discover desired actions have accumulated substantial friction through gradual environmental decay, while lazy alternatives remain friction-free. Phone sits nearby, entertainment available instantly, comfortable seat readily accessible. This friction differential determines behavior more than willpower or motivation. Implementation requires systematic environmental audit and friction removal. Identify your single most important desired behavior currently experiencing laziness. Map exact friction points preventing easy execution. What obstacles exist between current state and action completion? What decisions are required before starting? What preparation is necessary? What could go wrong interrupting execution? Systematically eliminate each friction point. Position required materials prominently visible. Prepare setup in advance. Remove decision requirements through predetermined defaults. Create backup systems preventing interruptions. Goal is making desired action executable with zero preparation from current resting state. You should be able to begin immediately from wherever you are without any preliminary steps. Track execution rate, noting whether it increases dramatically through eliminated friction independent of willpower or motivation changes. Transition. Friction elimination removes obstacles to desired action. But even with zero friction, presence of highly attractive lazy alternatives captures attention, preventing execution. Habit 2 solves this problem. Habit 2, temptation removal. Habit 2 eliminates competing temptations from environment. Remove easy, lazy alternatives, making desired action default option. Temptation removal creates action by eliminating attractive alternatives that would otherwise capture attention and prevent execution of desired behaviors. Most people attempt resisting temptations through willpower while maintaining those temptations in immediate environment. Want to work but phone sits nearby? Want to train but comfortable couch is visible? Want to eat healthy but snacks remain easily accessible? This creates continuous willpower battle where you must constantly resist available temptations, eventually losing battle when willpower depletes through accumulated resistance, producing failure that's actually inevitable outcome of flawed environmental design. Removing temptations from environment eliminates resistance, requirement making desired action happen automatically because no attractive alternative exists, capturing attention away from intended behavior. Why temptation removal works better than willpower resistance becomes clear examining attention dynamics and depletion effects. Visual presence of temptation captures attention automatically through biological salience mechanisms, making you think about and desire that tempting option repeatedly even when initially committed to different action. Each captured attention moment requires willpower redirecting focus back to intended action, and willpower depletes progressively through use, meaning early redirections succeed, but later redirections fail as capacity exhausts. Additionally, Mere presence of resisted temptation creates cognitive load from active suppression. You're using mental resources, preventing yourself from thinking about available temptation rather than directing full cognitive capacity toward intended action. Remove temptation eliminates both attention capture and suppression load, freeing full capacity for productive action. Consider attempting focused work session with phone present on desk. Phone generates notifications capturing attention, and even when silent, the mere visible presence triggers thoughts about checking messages, social media, or entertainment, producing continuous attention disruption. You resist successfully initially, but each resistance depletes willpower slightly until eventually you rationalize quick check that becomes extended distraction destroying work session. Now consider identical work session with phone physically removed from workspace, stored in different room or given to another person, making checking impossible without deliberate retrieval requiring leaving workspace. Eliminated temptation means zero attention capture and zero resistance requirement, allowing full focus on work, producing dramatically superior output through environmental change, not improved discipline. Implementation requires identifying and physically removing temptations from spaces where desired actions should occur. For workspace, remove phone, disconnect internet if not essential, eliminate entertainment devices, clear visual distractions. For training space, remove comfortable seating, eliminate entertainment options, position only training relevant equipment. For eating space, remove processed snacks, eliminate visible junk food, stock only healthy options requiring no preparation. Rule is total removal, not just putting temptation out of sight. If phone is in drawer, you'll still retrieve it. If snacks are in cabinet, you'll still access them. Actual removal means physical distance requiring deliberate travel to access, creating sufficient friction that retrieval won't happen impulsively. Track focus quality and execution completion, noting whether both improve substantially when temptations are genuinely eliminated, not merely hidden. Transition. Temptation removal eliminates competing alternatives. But even in optimized environment, unclear priorities create paralysis where you avoid starting anything because you don't know what to start. Habit 3 solves this problem. Habit 3. Decision preloading. Habit 3 eliminates execution decisions through advanced preparation. Decide what to do before you need to do it. Decision preloading creates action by removing decision-making burden at execution moment when willpower is often depleted and resistance is high. Most people wake each day without predetermined plan, forcing continuous decision-making about what to do next throughout day. This creates decision fatigue, progressive depletion of decision-making capacity through accumulated choices, producing progressively worse decisions, favoring easy, lazy options over difficult, productive ones as day continues. Additionally, execution moment decisions create negotiation opportunity, where you evaluate whether you really need to do intended action today, allowing rationalization and excuse generation that wouldn't occur if action was predetermined and automatic. Why preloaded decisions produce superior execution becomes clear examining decision-making dynamics under varying conditions. Morning after rest, you have maximum decision-making capacity, allowing thoughtful evaluation of priorities and intelligent planning. Execution moment. Later that day, you have depleted capacity and face immediate discomfort from required action, creating bias toward easier alternative. Making decision when capacity is high produces superior choices that get executed reliably because decision is already made, eliminating negotiation opportunity. Making decision at execution moment produces inferior choices influenced by depletion and avoidance, producing consistent lazy behavior pattern. Consider morning routine without predetermined plan. You wake and immediately face decision. Train now or later, eat breakfast or skip, work on important project or handle email. Each decision consumes willpower and creates opportunity for lazy choice when you're still tired from sleep. Additionally, uncertainty about what should happen next creates psychological discomfort, making you avoid starting anything specific, choosing passive default activities instead. Now consider morning with completely predetermined plan decided previous evening. Wake at 6 a.m., execute 15-minute training sequence already positioned and prepared, eat prepared breakfast, work on identified priority task for 2 hours before checking any communications. 0 decisions required. You simply execute predetermined sequence, eliminating all negotiation and rationalization opportunities, producing consistent, productive morning regardless of how you feel. Implementation requires establishing evening planning ritual, creating next day's complete action plan, eliminating execution decisions. Set exact time. 8 p.m. daily works well for planning session, reviewing priorities, and designing tomorrow's schedule. Write specific action sequence with exact timing. Wake 6 a.m. Execute training sequence A, listed specifically. Eat breakfast meal B, prepared tonight. Work on Project X deliverable, Y, materials positioned on desk, from 7 to 9 a.m. Continue scheduling entire day, specifying not just what happens, but exactly how it happens, eliminating any ambiguity or decision requirements. Prepare environment matching plan. Position training materials, prepare breakfast, organize workspace with required materials visible and accessible. Track execution fidelity, noting whether you follow plan consistently when decisions are eliminated versus constant negotiation and rationalization when decisions remain at execution moment. After 30 days, pre-loaded decisions, most people report dramatic productivity increase, not through improved motivation, but through eliminated decision burden, creating automatic execution. Transition. Decision preloading creates execution certainty. But even with perfect environment and predetermined plans, depleted energy makes all action feel impossible, creating generalized laziness. Let's shift to energy optimization. Habit 4. Sleep prioritization. Habit 4 establishes sleep as non-negotiable foundation. 8 hours minimum, consistent timing, complete darkness. Sleep prioritization creates action capacity by ensuring adequate daily recovery, providing energy, making execution feel possible rather than impossibly difficult. Most people sacrifice sleep to accommodate other commitments, treating rest as optional luxury rather than foundational requirement for all performance. This creates chronic sleep debt, accumulated deficit from repeated insufficient sleep, producing state where you're perpetually exhausted, making all action require exceptional willpower to overcome fatigue-generated resistance. When adequately rested, action feels manageable, requiring normal effort. When sleep-deprived, identical action feels insurmountably difficult, creating what appears as laziness, but is actually rational response to depleted energy state. Why sleep determines action capacity more than motivation becomes clear, examining energy dynamics and cognitive performance under varying rest conditions. Sleep debt impairs prefrontal cortex function, brain region responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, while leaving automatic habitual responses relatively intact. This means when sleep deprived, you can execute automatic easy behaviors, but struggle executing novel difficult behaviors requiring deliberate control. Research shows single night of insufficient sleep produces cognitive impairment equivalent to mild intoxication, and chronic sleep debt produces cumulative deficits affecting judgment, emotional regulation, and physical performance, creating comprehensive capability reduction. Additionally, sleep debt increases perceived effort required for any action-making identical task, feels significantly harder when under-rested compared to well-rested. Consider attempting productive day after 5 hours sleep. Morning alarm feels unbearable. Getting out of bed requires enormous effort. Training seems impossible. Focused work feels overwhelmingly difficult. Throughout day, you choose easiest options because everything else feels too hard, producing pattern of minimal effort and avoided challenges despite sincere intentions to be productive. Now consider identical day after 8 hours quality sleep. Morning wake feels natural, training feels manageable, focused work flows smoothly, challenges feel engaging rather than overwhelming. Same person, same tasks, dramatically different capacity through differential sleep, creating energy availability, determining what's possible versus impossible. Reality check moment. Examine your actual sleep patterns honestly over past 30 days. What time do you typically sleep and wake? How many hours of actual sleep occurs? Is timing consistent or varying widely? Is sleep quality high or disrupted frequently? Most people discover they chronically undersleep by 1 to 2 hours daily, believing they function fine on insufficient rest because they've never experienced prolonged adequate sleep. For comparison, track how difficulty and resistance feel on rare days when you're genuinely well-rested versus typical partially rested state, noticing whether well-rested days produce effortless productivity, while typical days require constant willpower, forcing action against fatigue. Implementation requires establishing non-negotiable sleep schedule, protecting 8 hours in darkness consistently. Calculate required sleep time based on necessary wake time. If you must wake at 6 a.m., sleep time is 10 p.m., allowing 8 hours plus time to fall asleep. Establish this schedule 7 days weekly, eliminating weekend variation that disrupts circadian rhythm, creating Monday fatigue. Prepare sleep environment. Complete darkness using blackout curtains or sleep mask. Cool temperature between 60 to 67 degrees. Minimal noise using white noise machine if necessary. Removed screens and artificial light 2 hours before sleep, allowing natural melatonin rise. Track sleep duration and next day energy levels, noting whether consistent adequate sleep produces dramatically improved action capacity, eliminating most perceived laziness through resolved energy deficit. After 30 days, most people report that tasks previously requiring enormous willpower now feel manageable through restored energy capacity, making execution natural rather than forced. Transition. Sleep prioritization establishes energy foundation. But even well-rested, poor nutrition creates energy instability, preventing sustained action. Habit 5 solves this problem. Habit 5, strategic fueling. Habit 5 establishes strategic nutrition, providing stable energy. Eliminate refined carbohydrates. Prioritize protein and fat. Strategic fueling creates sustained action capacity by preventing energy crashes from unstable blood sugar that make continued action feel impossible, triggering lazy avoidance behaviors. Most people fuel through refined carbohydrates, bread, pasta, sugar, processed foods, creating rapid blood sugar spike, followed by sharp crash, producing energy roller coaster throughout day. During spike, you feel temporarily energized. During crash, you feel exhausted and irritable, making continued productive action feel impossible. This crash-triggered exhaustion appears as laziness, but is actually physiological state, where depleted energy makes action genuinely difficult, not merely psychologically unappealing. Strategic fueling through protein, healthy fats and complex carbohydrates produces stable blood sugar, preventing crashes, maintaining consistent energy, enabling sustained action throughout day. Why fuel composition determines sustained capacity becomes clear examining metabolic dynamics and hormonal responses to different macronutrients. Refined carbohydrates digest rapidly, causing quick blood sugar elevation, triggering large insulin release that aggressively lowers blood sugar, often overshooting, creating hypoglycemic state characterized by fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and strong desire for rest or more quick carbohydrates, creating vicious cycle. Protein and fats digest slowly, producing gradual sustained blood sugar elevation with minimal insulin response, maintaining stable levels for hours, preventing energy crashes. Additionally, stable blood sugar maintains stable mood and cognitive function, while unstable blood sugar produces irritability and impaired decision-making, making lazy choices more appealing during crash periods. Consider typical day starting with refined carbohydrate breakfast, toast, cereal, pastry, producing initial energy followed by mid-morning crash, creating strong desire for more food and difficulty focusing. Respond with more carbohydrates, producing another spike crash cycle. Repeating throughout day, creating pattern where you feel terrible multiple times, requiring constant refueling and experiencing multiple periods of exhaustion, sabotaging productivity. Now consider identical day, starting with protein and fat breakfast, eggs, meat, nuts, producing stable energy lasting 4 to 6 hours without crash, allowing sustained focused work throughout morning. Lunch, continuing this pattern, extends stability through afternoon, creating full day of consistent capacity without crash-triggered exhaustion, producing lazy avoidance. Implementation requires systematically replacing refined carbohydrates with protein and healthy fats as primary fuel sources. Breakfast becomes eggs with vegetables, meat, or full-fat yogurt with nuts, eliminating grain-based options entirely. Lunch and dinner prioritize substantial protein serving with fibrous vegetables and healthy fats, eliminating breads, pastas, rice as primary components. Snacks, if needed, become nuts, hard-boiled eggs, cheese, meat, rather than chips, crackers, or sweets. Track energy stability throughout day, noting whether crashes disappear and sustained focus becomes normal rather than requiring constant effort, maintaining attention against fatigue. Additionally, track whether food cravings reduce substantially because stable blood sugar eliminates physiological drive for quick carbohydrates that stable fueling satisfies continuously. After 30 days, most people report that afternoon crashes previously blamed on natural circadian rhythm completely disappear, revealing they were actually fuel-induced, creating unnecessary exhaustion, sabotaging productivity. Transition. Strategic fueling establishes energy stability. But even with excellent sleep and nutrition, lack of external accountability allows avoidance without consequences. Let's shift to accountability systems. Habit 6, public commitment. Habit 6 establishes public commitment, creating social pressure. Announce intentions to people whose opinion matters. Public commitment eliminates laziness by activating social accountability, making failure to execute visible to others whose judgment you care about, creating psychological pressure, maintaining follow-through. Private commitments allow unlimited rationalization. You can negotiate with yourself about why today doesn't require execution, generating endless excuses that feel justified because no external observer challenges them. Public commitments remove this negotiation option because failure becomes visible, creating social cost through damaged reputation, making continued laziness unsustainable. Additionally, public commitment activates identity pressure. You've claimed to be person who does X, making behavior contradicting this claim psychologically uncomfortable, creating motivation, maintaining consistency between stated identity and actual behavior. Why public accountability produces reliable execution becomes clear, examining social psychology and reputation dynamics. Humans are fundamentally social creatures whose survival ancestrally depended on group membership and cooperative relationships, making reputation protection extraordinarily powerful motivator. Threat of damaged reputation through visible failure creates stronger execution pressure than personal desires or goals, because social consequences feel more immediate and concrete than distant personal benefits. Research confirms public commitment increases follow-through rates dramatically compared to private commitment through activated social accountability mechanisms that operate automatically without requiring conscious motivation or willpower. Consider deciding privately to train daily, then finding yourself skipping consistently because each morning you rationalize why today is special exception. Too tired, too busy, not feeling well. And these excuses feel completely justified because no one challenges them, allowing continued pattern indefinitely. Now consider announcing publicly to friends or social media that you're training daily for 30 days, creating commitment where everyone knows your stated intention. Each morning, skip temptation now involves conscious choice to fail, publicly damaging reputation and contradicting stated identity, creating substantially stronger pressure, maintaining execution because failure cost has increased dramatically through social visibility. Implementation requires selecting commitment and announcing publicly to audience whose judgment matters to you. Close friends, family members, social media followers, accountability group, whoever's opinion you actually care about enough that disappointing them feels genuinely uncomfortable. Announcement must be specific. I'm training every morning at 6 a.m. for next 30 days without exception, not vague, I'm going to exercise more. Specificity creates clear success criterion, making failure obvious, preventing rationalization. Additionally, establish regular public reporting, daily or weekly updates showing execution evidence, maintaining accountability throughout commitment period, preventing disappearance after initial announcement. Choose commitment duration matching your capacity. 30 days is standard, allowing building habit through sustained practice. And choose behavior important enough that public failure would genuinely bother you, activating real accountability rather than announcing something you don't care about, eliminating accountability mechanism. Transition. Public commitment creates social pressure, but social accountability alone allows private failures when no one is watching. Habit 7, complete system through daily tracking. Habit 7, execution tracking. Habit 7 establishes daily execution tracking. Record completion immediately. Maintain visible evidence. Execution tracking eliminates laziness by creating concrete evidence of behavior patterns, making excuses and rationalization impossible through documented reality. Most people avoid tracking execution because it reveals uncomfortable truth about how much they actually do versus how much they believe they do. You feel busy and productive, but tracking shows minimal actual output. This avoidance allows continued laziness because without data, you can convince yourself you're doing fine through selective memory and rationalization. Systematic tracking makes laziness visible in undeniable form, creating psychological pressure for change because you cannot maintain comfortable self-deception when data contradicts it directly. Additionally, tracking creates psychological momentum through visible progress chains, where maintaining streak becomes independently motivating, producing continued execution to avoid breaking established pattern. Why tracking produces superior execution becomes clear, examining behavioral feedback mechanisms and measurement effects. What gets measured gets managed. Tracking creates regular attention on specific behavior, increasing salience, making you think about and prioritize that behavior more than untracked alternatives. Additionally, tracking provides immediate feedback, showing whether you executed or failed, eliminating ambiguity that allows rationalization. Research confirms tracking intervention alone, without any other behavior change technique, produces significant improvement in target behavior through increased awareness and psychological accountability from self-monitoring. This works because most people want to see themselves as consistent and capable, making visible evidence of inconsistency or failure psychologically uncomfortable, creating motivation for improved performance. Consider intending to work on important project daily, but never tracking actual execution. Weeks pass, and you feel like you've made progress because you remember some days working on project. But when forced to review objectively, you realize you actually worked on it only 3 times in past 30 days, producing minimal progress despite sincere intentions. Lack of tracking allowed selective memory, creating false sense of accomplishment, preventing behavior correction. Now consider identical goal with daily tracking, using calendar marking each execution day. After 1 week, you see only 2 marked days, revealing actual execution rate is much lower than intended, creating uncomfortable awareness, triggering increased effort, because visible evidence contradicts comfortable self-perception. Reality check moment. Choose your single most important goal, currently experiencing laziness. Try to recall accurately how many days in past 30 you actually worked on this goal, showing meaningful progress. Most people realize they cannot recall accurately whether it was 8 days or 15 days or 20 days because without tracking, memory is unreliable. Additionally, what you remember as working on goal might have been brief, minimal effort rather than substantial, focused work, but memory conflates all attempts equally. This uncertainty allows comfortable self-deception, maintaining laziness, because you can always believe you're doing better than reality, without data forcing accurate accounting. Implementation requires establishing simple binary tracking system recording daily, whether target behavior was executed completely or not. Purchase large wall calendar and position prominently where you'll see it multiple times daily. Define execution criterion clearly. Complete 30-minute focused work session on project, not vague work on project. Each day after execution, mark calendar immediately with large visible X, creating growing chain of completed days. Do not mark day unless execution criterion was fully met. Partial execution doesn't count because it allows standards erosion. Track single most important behavior, initially preventing overwhelm from attempting multiple tracked habits simultaneously. After 30 consecutive days, tracked execution, you'll have clear data showing actual performance, allowing honest assessment of whether behavior change is needed, and you'll have established psychological momentum from visible chain-making continued execution, easier through activated streak maintenance motivation. Call to action. You now have complete samurai anti-laziness system, eliminating lazy behavior through systematic environmental design, energy optimization, and accountability implementation. Not through motivational content creating temporary enthusiasm or willpower techniques, requiring constant psychological effort. Actual structural changes, making laziness impossible through removed conditions that produce it. 7 habits extracted from samurai training methods, where laziness meant death, creating selection pressure, producing most effective anti-laziness practices ever developed. Challenge starts today with environmental design. Identify your single most important desired action currently experiencing laziness. Map all friction points, preventing easy execution, and systematically eliminate them, positioning materials visibly and accessibly. Identify competing temptations in that space and physically remove them, creating environment, supporting desired behavior automatically. Night, design tomorrow's complete predetermined schedule, eliminating execution decisions. This begins 10-week sequential implementation, building permanent productivity capability. Post in comments what friction you're eliminating first and what your most important lazy avoided behavior is creating public commitment, activating accountability. Subscribe if this showed you laziness is environmental and physiological problem, not character flaw requiring only systematic condition elimination, not superior willpower or exceptional motivation. Most men will watch understanding intellectually. Environmental design eliminates laziness, but never implements systematic changes, maintaining lazy producing conditions, wondering why willpower and motivation continue failing. You're different. You change environment. Today, eliminate friction. Remove temptations. Design tomorrow. Begin anti-laziness transformation through demonstrated environmental restructuring, creating conditions where productivity is inevitable and laziness is structurally impossible.